Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Jonald Sia, and I'm your Master of Ceremony. On behalf of the organizers, I am proud to welcome you all to the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, Bicol Chapters 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme, Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills in the New Normal Classroom. Hello again. Yes, I heard you. Your participation today affirms to the fact that you want to avert the epidemic of lost learning and paralysis by over-analysis. So, without further ado, let's commence our webinar with us placing ourselves in the presence of the Lord through an invocation to be led by Dr. Maria Luz P. Bajola, Dean, College of Education, Ateneo de Naga University, Secretary of the Five.
Let us bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we stand before you in humble prayer before we start with this program, the 2021 Regional Student Teachers Congress. Bestow your grace and divine wisdom to all of us present here so that we could achieve our intention for joining this activity. Fill us with the grace of the Spirit and continue to remind us that all that we do and accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. Bless people around the globe that they may enjoy peace and goodness of your love amidst this pandemic. We ask all this through your mighty name. Amen.
With swelling pride in our hearts, let's all sing the Philippine National Anthem to be followed by the singing of Pate Hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Mga
The Fox's spirits spreads over the land. The Fox's spirits we hail instead. We hail this with pride. Fox that far and wide. Room for mentors word. We'll always support. The Fox's spirits we keep in our hearts. The Fox's spirits we sing like a lark. We hail this with pride, Fox that far and wide. Group for mentors word, we'll always support. So come and join the band of Fox that all and young. Educators with its plan, molders of the teaching plan, hail of Fox teaching plan. Hail, Pafte, hail. So walk and march, let's sing and shout, and hail Pafte's work throughout the land. So walk and march, let's sing and shout, and hail Pafte's work throughout the land.
Moving right along to feed us with the demographics, where our zealous participants hail from, let me call in Dr. Amelita P. Sadueste, Dean, College of Education, Libon Community College, Treasurer, PAFTE 5, for the presentation of participants.
Good morning. Social and emotional learning come first, before academics. With a new normal education, it is imperative to learn these skills to get academics right. As of 8 o'clock this morning, we have 1,694 registered participants. They are the presidents, college administrators, deans, faculty members, and the bulk of student teachers from the higher education institutions in Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Sorsogon, and the island provinces of Masbate and Catanduanes. Welcome to the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress. Let us enjoy with our guests and resource speakers as we read social and emotional skills. A blessed day to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Ami. It astonishes me to discover the diversity of our eager beavers, our participants, proving that a great many desire not just to survive, but to thrive during this pandemic. At this juncture, let me introduce you to the tenacious, indefatigable Dr. Nora L. Licop, Dean, College of Education, Southern Luzon Technological College Foundation, Incorporated, Pio Duran, the chair of BAFTE 5 for the welcome remarks and statement of purpose.
Thank you, Dr. John Alcia, our MC joining us from the city of Masbate. Our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Lucille Dote-Evangelista, our highly esteemed National President of the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, or PAFTE National, Dr. Brenda B. Corpus, and the PAFTE National and Regional Officers, our very supportive and dynamic PAFTE 5 advisor, and most respected Vice President for Luzon, who is also today's resource speaker, Dr. Milagros L. Borabo, the Region 5 Director of the Commission on Higher Education, Dr. Freddy T. Bernal, Dr. Felina Esquique, PAFTE CAR Chair and our Microsoft Teams Technical Consultant, honored guests, Research Board of Judges, my fellow PAFTE Executive Board members, both the incumbent and the immediate past, chaired by Dr. Editha Lodado, our dear participants, school administrators, educators, teachers, and students in Region 5, the honorees, the TOST, and research awardees, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to you all. Thank you for your beautiful presence in today's Congress. It is with a great sense of pride and pleasure that we in PAFTE 5 welcome you all to the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress. We are thrilled that today we have a unique gathering of school administrators, teachers and students, as well as educational experts and seasoned educators from different parts of the country, not in person, but via virtual platforms, Microsoft Teams and Zoom. Thanks to modern technology and to our technical experts like Dr. Felina Espique, PAFTE CAR Chair, who is with us now from Baguio City. We're all aware that the COVID-19 pandemic has drastically changed our lives as teachers and students, and it has taken its toll, most especially on our psychological or social emotional well-being. This is the challenge that prompted the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, or PAFTE, Bicol Regional Chapter, to undertake this webinar on the theme, Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom. United in purpose, our program today essentially consists of two parts. In part one, we are featuring two distinguished and carefully chosen speakers, Dr. Lucille Dote-Evangelista, Batangas State University, and Dr. Milagros L. Borabo, VP for Luzon of PAFTE, who will enable us to attain the first two objectives of the Congress. For the participants to recognize the importance of social and emotional learning, or SEL, in creating a classroom climate that is conducive for learning. Integrate the development of social emotional learning skills in academic instruction through student engagement in the new normal teaching learning environment. For part two of the program, the objectives are for the participants to deepen their appreciation of research as an essential tool in improving classroom practice, and for PAFTE 5, the awarding entity, to give due recognition to student teachers who exemplify excellence in teaching and research and manifest a high degree of commitment and leadership worthy of emulation by peers and other pre-service teachers. Here's a little background on part two. Last year, specifically on March 20, 2020, the immediate past PAFTE 5 officers were supposed to conduct the 2020 Student Teachers Congress, and among its highlights was the awarding ceremony to honor the winners in the 2020 Search for 10 Outstanding Student Teachers, or TOST, and in the Best Research Paper competition. But because of the national lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 Student Teachers Congress was indefinitely postponed. So we're therefore very pleased that today, 1 year after its postponement, we stand witness to its realization in the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress, although no longer face-to-face, but virtual or online. By the way, some of you may wonder what PAFTE is all about. PAFTE is an acronym for Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators. It is a 53-year-old strong professional learning community of world-class teachers and educators. PAFTE has been in the forefront of teacher education since its inception on January 30, 1968, with well-established international and national linkages. There are 17 regional chapters of PAFTE in the country, and PAFTE 5 Bicol chapter is one of them. We therefore encourage you who may not yet be members to become part of this prestigious organization. In closing, we thank and once again welcome and enjoin all our participants wherever you may be virtually attending this webinar to stay with us until the end of the program. We hope this Congress will deepen your appreciation of the teaching profession and inspire you to become or to continue to be great and dedicated teachers despite the challenges that confront us in these difficult and trying times. After all, as somebody has aptly put it, to the world, you may just be a teacher, but to your students, you are a hero. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang PAFTE. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Yes, our thoughts are in complete accord. Dr. Nora, true enough, COVID has affected us economically, politically, socially, and academically. But here's us continuing. I thank you most warmly for taking us with you on a helicopter overview on the terrestrial realm of today's webinar topics, activities, and purpose. Now, let's all lend our ears to the ever supportive and zestful Director 4 of the Commission on Higher Education, Regional Office 5, Dr. Freddy T. Bernal, CESO 3, for an inspirational message.
The officers of PAFTE, Bicol chapter, headed by Dr. Nora L. Licop, our distinguished resource persons, administrators and supervisors, deans, program heads, faculty, teacher education majors, and graduates from various TEIs in Bicol region, student teachers, guests, ladies and gentlemen. I shall not be discussing the theme lengthily because we have the honor as keynote speaker. I just wish to share with you some of my perspectives, readings, and insights about teaching in the new normal classroom with emphasis on social emotional skills. Apparently, the COVID-19 pandemic is a negative situation. Yet, the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, or PAFTE 5, is setting a positive tone by holding this Student Teachers Congress via Microsoft Teams. While several institutions are experiencing low enrollment, connectivity problems, financial constraints, and the so-called digital divide, colleges and universities in Bicol, especially teacher education institutions, turn problems into opportunities. The challenges have become chances. As the cliche goes, difficult roads lead to beautiful destination. I remember Dr. Fay Lea M. Lauraya, now the president of the University of Nueva Cáceres, convey that we create our own music for higher education. We have to be open to both the difficulties and the opportunities. Since March last year, may have changed indeed. The crowded and noisy classrooms and schools have become empty and silent buildings. The small and big hands of students in front of the teacher are now virtual hands labeled raised hand. Pen and paper exams have been turned into online, press the button, tests. Many classroom teachers have been turned into teacher broadcasters. In the new normal, classes are adopting flexible learning where online and modular approaches are used. Questions arose such as, how do I prepare my lesson now? How can I conduct classes and still make them interesting for diverse students with different socioeconomic status in different learning places? How do I assess student learning? How do I still keep the whole class attentive and focused? How do I deal with the internet issue? These are questions that have cropped up out of the blue as the new normal classroom emerged. Amidst all these changes, we should bear in mind that our students are not robots. Therefore, in the new normal classroom, let us not treat our students mechanically. Let us not turn them on and off whenever it suits our fancy. Let us explain to them why and what they do. Listen to their plans and future. Know their feelings. Institute and maintain recreational activities, and not solely bombard them with work and empathize with them. Let us not judge their human worth based on the quality of their output and performance online. Simply put, let us integrate social emotional learning skills in flexible learning. It should be noted that social emotional learning skills are among our life skills. Why? Because they help us to relate with one another, manage our feelings, and put ourselves in the shoes of other people. They can boost our morale and help us achieve, whether in school, work, or life. Weaving social emotional skills in the new normal classroom is not that difficult. For example, just by merely noticing whether a student is happy or sad and asking him why is already a way of developing such skills. You are teaching your students to be sensitive to other feelings. You can still play games to teach them how to win or lose, share and negotiate. You can ask them open-ended questions like, what will you do if, or why are you upset? That will help them to open up. You can tell stories using true-to-life situations and ask them how will they feel about it and respond to such scenario. You can encourage them to try new things, be creative, and learn how much they can do. You yourself, as teacher, can be an example of being a team player and a model of emotional stability and proper conduct, even though you are in remote learning. As teachers and educators, you will be touching lives. Someday, somehow, a child will be able to read and write because of you. A student will be able to compute his daily budget because of you. And a young mind will be able to grow with skills and morals because of you. I am fully aware of this because I was born and nurtured in a big family whose parents were both elementary school teachers. Teaching is a complex, multifaceted activity, often requiring a person to juggle multiple tasks and goals simultaneously and flexibly. It is not a vacation, but a vocation. It is not a walk in the park, but a marathon that cannot be rushed, yet is worth working for. As teachers and educators, your principal role is to bring out the best in learners. The greatest gift that you can give to your students is your time. Time to advise, time to talk, time to listen, even with this paradigm shift in the new normal. When you give your time to someone, you are giving them a portion of your life that you can never get back. I do hope that you are here in this Congress because of your passion to teach and your love for the youth. Andito kayo dahil magaling kayo at ito ang gusto nyo. Everything in life has a purpose. Just trust yourself and take time to enjoy the pleasure of life. Remember to follow your heart but never surrender your dreams. As one journalism teacher named Melanie Moreno shared, life should not end with the virus. Education will still push through effectively. It just takes adaptability and synergy. Indeed, I agree. with teacher Melanie, that this pandemic must not close doors, but rather open windows of opportunities and possibilities without compromising precious lives of teachers, students, and all people. Continue to teach, to learn, to know, and feel, and to live well with others. Because in the end, you deserve a salute for being a powerful influence to humanity. Maraming salamat po, and Diyos mabalos sa Indogabos.
Thank you so much, Director Freddy. I can say without equivocation that your message was very precise and relevant to the audience lives. I am sure all of us in this webinar are able to relate to each and every word you mentioned. It's just like saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and learning has to continue. As our token of appreciation, we will be awarding this certificate. This certificate reads, Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE Incorporated, Bicol Chapter presents this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Freddy T. Bernal, CESO 3, Director 4, SHED Regional Office 5, for generously sharing his invaluable knowledge, time, and expertise as inspiration during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme, Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom, held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams, given this 26th day of March 2021 at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Nora Licop, Chair, PAFTE 5. Friends, we are privileged to have as our keynote speaker today, Dr. Lucille. Let's find out her experiences and views on the subject matter. But before that transpires, let's all be enthralled as we focus the spotlight on our baby boy, Benjamin D. Negresta III, Office of Student Affairs and Services, Bicol University, Vice Chair, PAFTE 5, for the introduction of the keynote speaker.
Unmute, sir.
Diyos mabalos sa iyo, Sir Jonald Sia. Hello, Bicolandia. Hello, Philippines. Diyos maray na aga sa Indogabos. Our keynote speaker today is a graduate of BS Clinical Psychology at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Her Masters of Arts in Psychology at the University of Santo Tomas and awarded as cum laude. She also got her 9 units of Master of Arts in Education, major in Guidance and Counseling at the De La Salle University, DASMA. She was also a graduate of Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology at the University of Santo Tomas. She attended seminars, trainings, and workshops to harness her capabilities as a teacher and also as a student affairs practitioner. To name a few, SK mandatory training modules, national training, 3rd National Training Conference of Student Affairs Development Services and Practitioners, 55th PAP Annual Convention, Seminar on Public-Private Partnership for Students Accommodation Development of State Universities and Colleges, assessment methods in psychological screening for psychometrician and psychologists, 17th Luzon Higher Education Press Conference, PAASA Region 4A Professional Assembly, Mental Health is Wealth, Nationwide Information Caravan on Republic Act 10931, 8th Regional God Convention on Gender and Development towards attaining the country development agenda. She is also a prolific researcher, scientific collaborator, writer, and author. The following are her work. Poster presentation describing environment, health, and safety-related activities among students, organization in Batangas State University system and its challenges. Poster presentation, current status of Batangas State University wide food service, policies, performance, problems, and plans. Effects of emotional state in decision-making time, procedure published in the Social Behavioral Sciences e-journal. Effects of visualization, academic performance of college students published in the International Journal of Information and Education Technology. She wrote also book on understanding the self. She is also an author on book on psychological, physical, spiritual preparedness of religious men and women, and module in general psychology. She is a prominent member of the following professional organizations: to cite a few, an associate member of the Psychological Association of the Philippines, a regular member of the Philippine Association of Campus Student Advisors Incorporated, National Confederation of Public and Private School Educators of the Philippines, and the Philippine Association for Teacher Education. She is a registered psychometrician and psychologist. Because of her academic track and scientific endeavor, she found herself to be an accomplished teacher and university faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, a loving wife and a mother of 2 sons, the director of the University Student Affairs and Services of the Batangas State University, let us all welcome my fellow student affairs practitioner and a fellow advocate for mental and emotional resiliency to talk with this year's theme, Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom. Dr. Lucille Dote-Evangelista.
Thank you for the kind introduction, my friend, Dr. Baby Boy Benjamin Nevers III. It is an honor to be here among you, and it is a privilege to be invited as keynote speaker. At the same time, it is a huge responsibility. Whenever someone reads my profile, I am thankful that I'm already in the middle adulthood stage of life. Because now, unlike 10 years ago, I already experienced in the shoes of the administration. I became a supervisor of a lot of talented people already. Witnessed our deans lead the college and how they would work collaboratively with our program heads. I know also the challenges encountered by program head because many times you serve as bridge of many sorts of concern. Tapos as a faculty member, ang hirap din magturo, especially now that we are in the new normal. And just like many of you here, I'm also a student because I believe that learning is a lifelong process. It never ends. And I am a student and I was too, so I can really relate to all of you. Today, my responsibility is to introduce and share the importance of social learning or the social learning skills in the new normal classroom. Let me start by defining SEL. So what is SEL? Social emotional learning is the manner of developing students' self-awareness, self-control, interpersonal skills that are necessary for life in the university, future work, and life in general. The 5 key skills developed in SEL programming are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. So the skills mentioned are mostly similar to the aspects of emotional intelligence or EQ, namely self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social skills, and motivation, right? When we talk about self-awareness, it's about recognizing our own emotions, our personal goals, and our own values. Self-management is our ability to regulate our emotions and behaviors. Self-awareness naman is about understanding the feelings of others, become compassion of others, their backgrounds and cultures at the same time. Relationship skills are the ability to establish, maintain healthy relationship with others, while responsible decision making is our ability to choose. So SEL programming is not just conducted in the classroom with our teachers and students. Instead, it is something that is practiced in school, family, and community for us to develop the 5 key skills. A lot of studies have claimed that incorporating SEL into the classroom can aid prepare students for future success, okay? Because people with strong emotional skills are better able to cope with everyday challenges, whether academics, professional, and social life. Plus, schools that include SEL as part of their curriculum are not only helping students to thrive academically, but they develop future employees or businessmen and women gain critical skills. We can expect that they can have more opportunity, they have higher income, and that they have greater success. In August 2009, the Department of Education here in our country announced to infuse social learning in the curriculum of public schools. The education secretary during that time is Jesly Lapus, and then he said that SEL will be integrated in the edukasyong pagpapakatao or character education that would seek to develop the 5 key skills. In the US, on the other hand, the Department of Education, they have their what they call PBIS, or the Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, which is based on a framework used by schools to improve social culture, student behavior, promoting safe environment for learning. No, so the focus is more on the positive behaviors and less on negative behaviors of learners, yung kanilang mga pinag-aaralan. So according to PBIS and other studies, they claim that strong SEL initiatives results to a lot of positive outcome, such as greater academic success, fewer behavioral issues, less emotional distress, positive behavior, less bullying, less stress sa teachers, better teacher-student relationship, positive school climate, improved career readiness, ang dami. They even improve graduation rates. So, from effective problem solving of self-discipline, mga dyan, from impulse control to emotion management and others, SEL researchers claim that SEL provide positive and long-term effects sa kids, sa students, and community as well. Schools invest in SEL programming, should invest in SEL programming. Kahit na ngayong nasa new normal na tayo. So, social emotional learning in the classroom, it does not just improve academics, but it has long-term effects, especially if the person becomes an employee already, kasi they have good problem solving, teamwork character, or grit. So why are we gathered in this particular way to address this topic? Why are we here? Now that we are in the new normal classroom, where we use internet, we conduct virtual meetings, we switch to alternative teaching methods, combination of online and face-to-face learning, we use video game podcasts and online materials. The question is, how do we integrate the development of SEL skills and competencies in academic instruction? There are a lot of simple and doable ways on how to develop the 5 key skills of SEL. You might even been doing it already, and at the same time, you may consider these activities inside your virtual classrooms. Ito yung mga ibang ideas natin for us to weave the SEL learning in our curriculum. So first, we can do daily check, greetings, and appreciation. This is our way where students and teacher may connect. Morning greetings, birthday, appreciation. appreciation post, for example, holding a class meeting once or just a week. Through this activity, we could help plan, solve our problems, lift the spirits of our students, because it creates a community feel. At the same time, it promotes positive and friendly climate for all those involved in the classroom. Strategy manage responsibilities. Responsibilities build their sense of self-worth, and it gives the message that we are part of the community or part of the family. Students may have, for example, some type of responsibility inside the home, kasi nga online na tayo, whether become cleaner o kaya clean his or her own room and clean the room with their younger siblings or scheduled chores in the house are good examples of way to develop SEL. We can also practice problem-solving skills. Say that we should avoid solving problems of our students right away, because we can always ask students to figure it out, and a lot of times they find solution of their own problem together with a friend or groupmate. Incorporating SEL in the classroom is done by promoting growth mindset. You are your basic qualities are things that you can cultivate through efforts. So growth mindset helps a person learn that a person can accomplish certain goals with work, good strategies, and persistence over time. Plus, they can also have self-talk. Pwede nilang dadagan nun. So, halimbawa, ako, nahihirapan ako sa mathematics. I can teach, o yung estudyante ko, I can teach my student to say that math is tough, yes, it's tough, but I am going to study and work hard for it in order to accomplish and learn the new lesson in mathematics. So that's an example of promoting a growth mindset. Wherein we can teach it even virtually. We can also do things such as building community with teamwork. We can create class projects and assignments and have students work in larger teams in order to complete a task. So we can teach students to be assigned in different jobs or work teams. In that way, na-develop sa kanila yung teamwork. So, positive self-talk, mabanggit ko na yung nina, it helps control our emotions, and that we can also deal with the problems appropriately. Because especially in this time of pandemic, we hear a lot of we need to teach positive self-talk, and that is really important. So, model this by saying positive talks every day before the class starts, and at the same time, encourage them to do the positive self-talk every day. Reflection, okay, is also good. So after the students complete, for example, a task, an assessment, or a project, encourage them to reflect about their own progress. This is a critical skill that can be used across the curriculum. Mathematics man yan, reading man yan, writing, science, or history man yan. Developing cultural awareness and celebrating diversity about people from different cultures or backgrounds and ability levels. So, mas tumaas din yung acceptance natin. It promotes diversity, it promotes tolerance, acceptance, and inclusion for everyone, for anybody. Encouraging kindness or doing random acts of kindness are also a good practice. You may give them assignments to do an act of kindness inside the home or inside the neighborhood, if possible. We can also teach active listening skills to our students even in the normal. Students use them in the classroom, online man o hindi, when they are working with a partner or an assignment, or chatting with their friends. Okay yun, nakaka-enhance yun ng active listening skill. Yun yung mga examples. Kasi that students are reminded that they need to share, they need to give everybody a chance to speak, for example, within a group. And whenever they are in a group, they need to learn how to respectfully disagree. This is a critical skill for students to learn. So remember that social emotional learning, okay, is not just one thing. It is an approach that brings all of these aspects into your classroom. So all this information, as administrators, teachers, and future teachers, are very important. Ano? Lalo na ngayon, pwede natin yan practice. So those are the many strategies or activities that we can incorporate in the subjects or curriculum that we have in order to develop the social emotional skills of our students. With all this information, as school administrators, as teachers, as future teachers, what should we look out for? So first, always look out for students who are always making excuses or who are constantly defensive. If there is an increased number of bullying in the school or inside the home, if they have poor judgment, if they lack self-management, most likely they may have difficulty solving problems or they are prone to stress. They can also become procrastinators. They have poor memory or energy. If they lack social awareness, they may feel hurt, may experience awkward silences. They may experience conflict or negativity if they have poor relationship skills. And last is if they engage in risky behaviors, which leads to problematic behavior. Because ibig sabihin, they are having irresponsible decision making. So those are the things that we need to look out for. Therefore, what are the most important things that we need to keep in mind as we talk and think about SEL? Always remember that SEL is important even in the new normal classroom. As future faculty members, or teachers, we are responsible to enhance the social emotional skills of our students, and that in order to start, we need to have a goal. Let us ask ourselves what I want for my child or for my student, and then ask how, papaano. Banggit na natin kanina the things that can be done in order to incorporate SEL activities in the subjects or curriculum. But remind ourselves that this is not just a coordinated classroom activity. It should be a school-wide, family, community practices so that we can help students develop the 5 key skills. Ang next na tanong is kailan? Natanong na natin yung what, natanong natin yung how. The next question is when. Kailan ba tayo mag-a-act? Ang palaging sagot doon is today. We need to act now. So, salamat sa PACTE. They made this kind of activity. Remember again, guys, that social emotional learning skills are vital for school work and success in general. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Oh, please give Dr. Lucille your virtual maps. Thank you very much for the very thought-provoking and insightful presentation you shared with us. Indeed, social and emotional learning provides a foundation and positive learning and enhances students' ability to succeed in school, careers, and life. So we now proceed to the awarding of certificate. The certificate reads, Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, after incorporated, Bicol chapter presents the certificate of commendation to Dr. Lucille Dote-Evangelista, Director, University Student Affairs and Services, Batangas State University, Batangas City, for generously sharing her invaluable knowledge, precious time, wealth of experience, and unparalleled expertise as keynote speaker during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal School. Held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams, given this 26th day of March 2021 at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Nora L. Licop, Chair, PACTE 5. Yes, that wraps up the first part of our webinar. Now, let's get the ball rolling for part 2, which is the research paper competition. Before we give way to the research paper presenters, allow me to acknowledge or introduce to you our board of judges. We have Dr. Lorna Emilia, College Dean, Bicol University College of Education, Daraga Albay. Chair, panel of judges. We also have Dr. Jean Salalimago, Education Supervisor 2, Commission on Higher Education, Regional Office 5, Legazpi City member. Finally, we have Dr. Jeremy A. Cruz, Principal 3, Pag-asa National High School, Rawis, Legazpi City member. And our research paper presenters are Arlo G. Sakay from the University of St. Anthony, Irigas City, Josebel P. Sawali from College Libon Albay, and Claudine A. Torero from University of Nueva Cáceres, Naga City. And here's the criteria for evaluation. Substance, 60%. Presentation, 30%. Form and style, 10%, for a total of 100%.
The researcher feels that teacher development, performance review, and the whole apparatus around lesson observation should place a strong central emphasis on understanding the challenges that teachers face in securing the learning of all the students in the class. It can be extremely difficult, even for experienced expert teachers, to nail every student's learnings, and this needs to be recognized. Management process needs to be geared towards supporting teachers to tackle the real challenges they encounter. With this, I came up with my research entitled Challenges and Coping Strategies of Secondary Education Student Teachers of the University of St. Anthony, academic year 2018-2019. Basis for Motivational Drive. I am Archie Sakay, the researcher. To start with, let me define teachers. So a teacher is a person who plays a pivotal role in molding a student's life. A teacher is someone who imparts not only academic knowledge, but also shares ethical values and embodies morality that shapes our personality as a better human being. A teacher is a life-changing role model who influences your growth development, inculcating important everyday values. The future advancement of the country rests on the teachers to mold the students to become successful achievers. With this, I may say that teachers occupy a central place in the world of professionals, in which one must possess specialized knowledge, which needs certain attitudes, frame of mind, and skills. Now, teaching is truly a beautiful trait, a trait of knowledge that is unique and very important in our society today. Many students find the experience of school difficult because of the tiring tasks, hectic schedules, numerous requirements, and schoolworks. But schools can be fun, depending on how teachers handle the situations. The effectiveness of teaching is really necessary. It is therefore a responsibility of the teacher to formulate a plan of effective teaching for a strong foundation of discipline and learnings are acquired. Teachers are one of the key elements in any school, and effective teaching is one of the key propellers for school improvement. Now, teaching internship is the placement of an aspiring teacher in a work environment to enable them to acquire professional experience. An internship is an opportunity to integrate career-related experiences into an undergraduate education by participating in planned supervised work. Thus, teaching internship helps aspiring teachers for their future careers. So the purpose of this study is to pinpoint the challenges faced by the interns during the internship program and coping strategies that is utilized by the student teachers interns to overcome the said challenges. This also aims to create a motivational drive through mechanisms based on the challenges as assessed by the secondary education student teachers. Now, this research aims to answer the following problems. For question number 1, what are the challenges faced by the secondary education student teachers during the internship? Number 2, what are the different coping strategies used by the student teacher interns? And for number 3, what motivational mechanisms can be proposed and learned based on the results of the study? So I have chosen the descriptive evaluative survey method as the design of my research, and I have 17 student teacher interns of batch 2020. So I have taken the whole population as my respondents. And I have used survey questionnaire and observation as my data gathering instruments, and I also have used frequency count, weighted mean, and rank ordering as part of my statistical tools. Now for my findings, conclusions, and recommendations. For our research question number 1, what are the challenges faced by the secondary education student teachers during their internship? So, as assessed by the respondents, challenges faced by the student teacher interns rose from a lot of paperwork, lack of interest of the students, and their limitations on disciplining them. And the risk when students remain silent in their class, students get burnt out easily, and when one of the students dominates the whole class. So among the challenges faced by the secondary education student teachers during their internship, the most challenging task is lots of paperwork. Student teachers have lots of paperwork because it is one of the requirements in order to pass the internship. Paperwork is already part of being a teacher, where everything needs to be filed up through forms, communications are delivered through written documents, plans of discussions are to be written in lesson plans, and a lot of other works that requires papers and documents. Now, in order to lessen the excessive load of paperwork, the study recommends to learn about time management in order to systematically do work. The use of digital records and other services that provides paperless work are also advised by the study. Now, for question number 2, what are the different coping strategies used by the student-teacher interns? Now, different coping strategies used by student-teacher interns are maintaining the interest of the students, making classes more fun, and the use of advanced technology. Now, in terms of coping strategies, the most effective way to overcome the challenges is always maintain the interest of the students. Also, by maintaining the interest of the students, this will lessen the number of challenges to be faced, thus will result to better discussion by having better attention or focus coming from our students. So, to effectively maintain the students' interest, the student teachers should make use of the activities such as games, the use of up-to-date technologies like PowerPoint presentations, audio and visual records, and video clips in the classroom discussion. Now, for question number 3, what motivational mechanisms can be proposed and learned based on the results of the study? Now, a motivational mechanism guide can be proposed to overcome the challenges faced by the student-teacher interns. So as for the motivational drive, numerous mechanisms are proposed by the study in order to overcome the said challenges. The mechanisms help the interns achieve objectives, boost their confidence, and enhance their skills to attain their goals. It is recommended that the mechanisms be utilized by the interns during the internship in order to help them on their challenges and develop skills needed to attain their goals. So as an output of the study, a guidebook entitled as Motivational Mechanism Guidebook for Student-Teacher Interns, which contains motivational mechanisms are made. So the guidebook is about the challenges faced by the student-teacher interns during the internship program and coping strategies that were adopted and utilized. So my guidebook has these following features. So it is divided into 4 sections. So we have about, when to do it, for whom, and what to do. Now, a sample of my output, I have here an example. So we have here, get up and shake it off. So what is it about? So you're nearly comatose. So it's about doing a lot of work. So when do we do this mechanism? So if you have been doing work on such a long period of time. So for whom is this mechanism? So it is for teachers and also the students who feels getting burnt out. So what do we usually do? Get up, stretch, and walk around. Maybe grab some coffee and some snacks. So there's one thing that we should not do in doing this mechanism. It is okay that we go to a cafe and take our work there. But the thing that's not going to work is you're going to a cafe and you're going just to stream your Facebook for hours and hours. So another example is we have give choice. So what is giving choice? So research shows that giving students choice is critical to increasing engagement. So when to do it? It is applicable in all disciplines. For example, you're providing your students options in doing your work, their performance tasks. So providing them options increase their engagement towards you. And for whom is this mechanism? It is for teachers in order to catch the attention of students and motivates them to be eager to learn. So what to do? Provide their students options. So in this manner, you allow them to take ownership of their learning. Another example is getting to know your students. So getting to know your students, by knowing your learners, you can deliver exactly what they need. So when to do it, you have to memorize their names and characters as soon as the school year starts. So for whom? Of course, for the teachers, in order to build up respect and harmony inside the classroom and lessen doing disciplinary actions. So what do we have to do? We have to learn their names quickly and use them in and out of the classroom so that we may have connection with them as teachers and as students. So we are following our samples of my references for my research. Now to end with, let me leave you with a saying. Teachers are expected to reach unattainable goals with inadequate tools. The miracle is that at times we accomplish this impossible task. So once again, good morning everyone. So thank you very much for your undivided attention. The research
Lucille Dote-Evangelista, the researcher from Lehman Community College. The study was anchored on the following rationale. Child protection policy promotes the right of every child in the country. Presidential Decree number 603, also known as Child Youth Welfare Code, Article 3, Section 8, states that every child has the right to protect from acts of abuse. The 1987 Constitution states that the states shall defend the right of children to assistance. Republic Act number 7610, this is an act providing a strong deterrence and special protection for children. Convention on the Rights of the Child, or the CRC, which aims to protect children from all forms of physical and mental violence. Ed Order number 40, series of 2012, promotes a zero-tolerance policy for any act of abuse. According to the study of former DepEd Secretary Brother Armin Ministro, 3 out of 10 grade school and 5 out of 10 high school students experience physical violence committed by teachers. 4 out of 10 grade school students and 7 out of 10 higher grade levels experience verbal abuse by teachers. The study speaks of the maximum percentages of pupils experience physical, verbal, and emotional abuse committed by peers and teachers in the school. The methodology of the study, the researcher used a descriptive research design. Respondents were 64 grade 6 pupils and 10 grade 6 teachers. Purposive sampling was used. The questionnaire were validated by the school head and child protection committee members. The researcher utilized weighted mean to determine the status of child protection policy at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii. With the following scale was used for interpreting the data gathered for the implementation of child protection policy in San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii. For the level of awareness, the following rating scale was used for interpreting the data gathered for the awareness of child protection policy at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii. The study answered the following questions. Question number 1. What is the status of the implementation of child protection policy at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii? The status of the implementation of child protection policy at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii has a general weighted mean of 4.94 with a verbal interpretation of totally implemented. The status of the implementation of child protection policy at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii are totally implemented. 2. What is the level of awareness of grade 6 pupils in the implementation of child protection policy? The level of awareness of grade 6 pupils on child protection policy implementation at San Vicente Elementary School, Libon, Hawaii has a general weighted mean of 4.49, wherein the level of awareness of grade 6 pupils in the implementation of child protection policy are partially aware. Last but not the least, what program may be proposed based on the findings of the study? The output of the study was a seminar workshop on revisiting develop awareness on the implementation of child protection policy. The following were the topics of the seminar workshop. General provision of child protection policy. Duties and responsibilities of every unit in the school. Preventive, protective, and remedial measures to address child abuse, exploitation, violence, discrimination, bullying, and other acts of abuse. Rules and procedures in handling child abuse, exploitation, violence, and discrimination cases. Referral and assessment of victims and offenders and other children. Miscellaneous provision. The following are the recommendations of the study. The school should see to it that the pupils are aware of the implementation of child protection policy. Provide activities similar to the proposal prepared by the researcher on the child protection policy. Involve stakeholders in the implementation of the activities on child protection policy. The child protection policy handbook of the school should be revisited from time to time at least twice every school year. Last but not the least, seek partnership with various stakeholders. Thank you and good day once again.
Good day, everyone. My name is Claudine A. Torero, a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English from the University of Nueva Cáceres, Naga Camarines Sur. Let me present to you my study that is entitled Speech Will, an Intervention in Reducing Speaking Aphoria of Freshman English major students. So we've come up to this study because we have observed that most of the learners are having difficulty or lacking the skills and confidence in speaking the English language. That is why they develop the speaking aphoria. So as a background of the study, speaking is considered as the most important skill of the learner. Most of the time, the proficiency of this skill is which judges the knowledge of the learner of the second language and to be globally competitive. Speaking aphoria is a distinct complex of self-perceptions, belief, feelings, and behaviors related to the use of second language for communication. That's why we believe that an intervention speech will can definitely help reduce the speaking aphoria of the learners. So this study answers three major problems. First would be the causes of speaking aphoria of freshman English major students. Second would be the levels of speaking aphoria of freshman English major students. And third would be the effects of speech will to the freshman English major students in terms of reducing stress, increasing motivation, and developing self-confidence. This study is also supported by two major theories. First would be the light bones and Spada's interactionist theory, and second will be the Stephen Krashen's input and effective filter hypothesis. As a conceptual framework, we've identified the causes and levels of speaking aphoria of freshman English major students, gather all the data, analyze it, and then we've conducted the intervention speech will, observe the students while the intervention is being conducted, and right after that, we've done a structured interview to identify the effects of speech will to the learners in terms of reducing the stress, increasing motivation, and developing their self-confidence. As a research methodology, we've used a mixed method, the descriptive, quantitative, and qualitative research method. So to identify the causes and levels of speaking aphoria of the students, we have made our own questionnaire and adapted the public speaking anxiety test by Dr. James C. McCroskey. We've also identified the effects of the intervention speech wheel to the freshman English major students, specifically with reducing stress, increasing the motivation and self-confidence through a structured interview with the learners and an observation during the intervention is being conducted. So let me present to you the interviews. This is entitled Speech Will. So the student will just have to click in the middle of the circle, and then it will just turn, and then they just have to clear it again. Then whatever topic that the arrow points out to, that is the topic that the student needs to talk about. A standard question that they need to answer. It's just spontaneous. Whatever they wanted to talk about their family, for example, is a good thing. Now, these are the causes of speaking aporia of the students. So as a findings, we have find that the causes of speaking aporia of the students is that first would be the fear of standing in front of large group of people. Second is fear of appearing nervous, concern that others are judging you, past failures, poor or insufficient preparation, dissatisfaction with the abilities, discomfort with the body movement, and comparing themselves to the others. And we've concluded based on the findings that the students' ability in speaking are affected through their stress, motivation, and self-confidence. Students think that they do not have the confidence and capability to speak in front of a large group of people because they lack motivation and always think of negative things that might happen when they are speaking. No, students, or as a recommendation, students may need to be exposed and practice to speak more in public. They should keep in mind that they can always improve their skills, especially in speaking, if they will practice and continue learning. They should overcome their fears whenever they speak in order for them to use their weaknesses as their motivation and for their own improvement as well. Now, to identify the levels of the speaking aporia of the students, we've adapted the public speaking anxiety test by Dr. James C. McCroskey. So there are 34 statements that students need to answer. They need to mark them strongly disagree, neutral, agree, or strongly agree. One of the example is that of the statement is that I am confident in speaking in a large group of people. Now, to determine the scores of personal report of public speaking anxiety, they just have to add scores for items. For step 1, there are specific items. And for step 2, there are also specific items that they need to add to. And then the formula would be 72 minus total from step 2 plus total from step 1. So that would be the student scores in terms of the public speaking anxiety. Now, we will identify if the student have a high or low moderate anxiety in terms of speaking with the scores that they have. So first is they will be marked as high if they have an equal or greater than 131 score. Low would be equal or less than 98, and moderate would be equal to 98 to 131. So these are the level of speaking of anxiety or speaking aporia of the freshman English major students. We've identified that before the intervention, 15% of the respondents that have high level of speaking aporia, 50% students are in the moderate level, and 35% students have low level of speaking aporia. So as a conclusion on this, we've concluded that speaking aporia is present in all of the respondents. People can completely remove the anxiety that they are experiencing since it is their emotion that they do not have a control of. However, they can lessen the impact of their anxiety, especially when they are speaking. As a recommendation, students and teachers can definitely work together to lessen the speaking aporia of the students by engaging in any activities that manage their emotions and stress so that it would not affect their speaking skills and would not cause anxiousness while they are speaking. So these are the levels of speaking aporia before and after the intervention. So right after we've conducted the intervention for more than 2 weeks, we've identified, or right after the intervention, students with high level of speaking aporia reduced from 15% to 5%. The moderate level also decreased from 50% to 40%. However, the students with low level of speaking aporia increased from 35% to 55%. Now, we've concluded that speech will is an effective intervention to reduce the speaking aporia of the students as it develops the confidence of the students to speak in front of many people. And as a recommendation, students need to be engaged in activities that can improve their speaking skill. Teachers should also promote a linguistic environment for students to develop their speaking ability. And speech will is a great example of an intervention that can reduce the speaking aporia of the students. So that ends my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so
Good.
much to our research presenters. Thank you for braving the challenge. This time, we will be giving the certificates to our panel of judges in recognition or in commendation of their arduous task of selecting the winners. So the certificate reads, Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE Incorporated, Bicol Chapter, presents the Certificate of Commendation to Dr. Lorna M. Minya, Dean, Bicol University College of Education, in profound gratitude and sincere acknowledgement of her significant contribution as chair, panel of judges for the Best Research Paper Competition during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme, Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom, held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams, given this 26th day of March 2021 at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Nora L. Licop, Chair, PAFTE 5. Same certificate is awarded to Dr. Jean Paulette S. Go, Education Supervisor 2, CHED Regional Office 5, and to Dr. Jeremy A. Cruz, Principal 3 of Pag-asa National High School. Thank you very much. To further intellectually and emotionally nourish you, our dear attendees, we shall hear a lecture. May I now present to you one of my favorite mentors whose strategy is known for being interactive, innovative, integrative, a prolific writer, a sought-after speaker, and an accomplished and multi-awarded educator. Let's all welcome Dr. Milagros Lim Burabo, the Vice President for Luzon, PAFTE National, Manila.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jonald, for that very kind and generous introduction. Dr. Freddy T. Bernal, Director, CHED Region 5. Dr. Nora L. Licop, Chair, PAFTE Region 5. To board directors, officers, working committees, faculty members, pre-service educators of PAFTE Region 5, and to all the participants of this webinar. A grace-filled morning, everyone. Diyos mabalos. The pandemic has really brought so many transitions in our life and has greatly affected us in so many ways, as evidenced by the gathering today. Every time I am invited as a resource speaker in your region, I am astonished with the huge audience who are highly engaged, active, and highly enthusiastic. Oh, I will surely miss your applause, your movement, and your laughter. But this pandemic will not hinder us to learn in the best way that we can. Although it has its curse, it also has many blessings and opportunities because it will pave the way for greater opportunities for creativity and resourcefulness, not only in the teaching learning process, but in other aspects as well. The topics on cell and student engagement are aptly chosen, very timely and very relevant. Social emotional learning is a broad term which refers to how students regulate their emotions, communicate with others, use compassion and empathy to understand the needs of other people, build relationships, and make good decisions. According to Williford and Walcott, it is imperative for teachers to naturally foster skills in students through their interpersonal student-centered instructional interaction throughout the teaching learning process. Student interactions support CEL when they result in positive student-teacher relationship, enable teachers to model social emotional competencies for students, and promote student engagement. Teacher practices that provide students with emotional support and create opportunities for student voice, autonomy, and mastery experiences promote student engagement in the educational process. Before I extensively discuss this topic, I want you to answer two questions using the Mentimeter. Since I cannot be with you face-to-face, I requested Ma'am Janelle and Ma'am Felina for me to use the Mentimeter. So I want you to, just like what Ma'am Lucille was saying, daily check, greetings, and appreciation will help promote CEL. So I would like to know, how do you feel today? So would you like to project now, Ma'am Janelle, my Mentimeter? Are they now, is it being projected?
Projected, ma'am.
So may I ask you now to please answer the Mentimeter by typing the code 43262598, and I would like to know how you're feeling today, and that will somehow develop your social emotional learning skills. I would like to get the answers from the audience. Go to www.mentimeter.com and use your code 43262598. Again, go to www.menti.com and use the code 43262598. Type in your answers. Sir Brian, you have to start, and Sir Jonald and the rest. How do you feel today? This will help me find out your mood and emotion. The bigger the word that will come out means that is the general feeling of the majority at this point in time. Again, I affirm what Dr. Lucille was saying, a daily check, a greeting or appreciation will surely give us the feeling that we are loved and have a sense of belongingness. But I don't see any answer yet from the audience. Is it flash, Ma'am Janelle?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't see any word cloud coming in. So can we now project that I'm feeling great today? I just want a word. Are you tired? Are you fantastic? Are you amazed? So how do you feel? I can see that there are 9. So let me check on your answers. How do you feel? You're feeling great today. But I just want a word because we're creating a word cloud. Okay. So we have, can it not be shown as a word cloud, Janelle, Ma'am Janelle? so that we can see how big the words are. You're feeling blessed, you're excited, you're feeling great. So there are 20 answers that I have noted. So if there is no word cloud being projected, may we move on. Blessed is 6, grateful 6, good 6, excited we have 6. But it should have been projected as a word cloud. But at any rate, let's move on. Let's move on to the next Mentimeter. Our topic today is about student engagement. So Ma'am Junelle, we are now projecting the next Mentimeter. I want to assess your prior knowledge. When you hear the word student engagement, what can you think of? May we have the next Mentimeter. When you hear the word student engagement, what words will come out into your mind? I'm happy that there were 45 who responded to how do you feel today. So may we move on to the next. 57 responded to me, but we cannot see the word cloud being projected. At any rate, may we move on to the next question, Ma'am Junelle. So you're feeling great today. What else? So there were 28 who answered. So you're highly engaged. So there were 78, but I cannot see the answers projected on the screen. But okay, grateful, happy, blessed. Okay, so there were 79, and you can see that on the screen too, right? So we move on. At this point, I will now be sharing my slides, Ma'am Junelle. So we can stop the Mentimeter. So may I share now my slide? May I share now my slide? Can I move on? Okay. So please tell me if my slide is moving. So your topic today, please inform me if the slide is moving. Your topic today, promotional.
Slide,
yes. So
no
the first
slide shown, ma'am.
For a while.
Can you share your slide, ma'am?
Okay.
Okay po.
So it's moving now. Previous. So let me start with my first slide. So the title is Promoting Social Emotional Learning Through Student Engagement. Can you now see my slide? Your theme is really very timely and relevant since at this time of the pandemic, there are limited social gathering because of the health protocols. So I have to search online resources and find out what is the importance of socio-emotional learning in teaching and learning, or what we call SEL. So is my slide moving? So the first one is we develop student self-management. There must be activities that will control their emotions and behaviors. So a while ago, Ma'am Lucille also shared activities which you can do in school so that you'll be able to control your emotions and behaviors, especially when they are in the lower grades. I have this teacher when I was principal in the grade school that will always ask with emoticons the emotions of the students at the start of the day and at the end of the day. The next one is SEL activities will boost your social awareness. You're able to interact with others and show respect for their ideas and behaviors. We call this AQ, or adversity quotient. Since there are different aspects in development, we have intellectual, social, emotional, sociocultural, and then we also have spiritual. We also have what we call spiritual adversity quotient, when you're able to also interact with other people and show your respect for their ideas and behaviors. The cell activities must be able also to establish relationship skills. Now, during the time of pandemic, we have a very limited virtual social contact with one another. We can simply interact with one another as we do during the face-to-face. But cell activities must promote socially acceptable actions which will help them maintain positive connection with others. Now, this morning, Dr. Likup started by giving you the different goals or the different objectives that we're supposed to have today. One is for you to know what is cell, what are the different cell activities that you can initiate, what are the tips in student engagement, and try to present research findings done by the students in Region 5. So we have to set our goals because the goals that we set every day in every task will ensure academic success. Now, what about further personal responsibility? Just like what has been mentioned, there must be activities to be done in the classroom that will ensure a responsibility. When we were young, there were responsibilities given by our advisors or teachers as cleaners, as board managers where we have to erase the board. We are also the assignment monitors. So these activities will help in developing cell inside the classroom. What about decision making? Some of the approaches that you can inject in cell will be how they will be able to solve problems so that they will be able to guide their action, to learn from others, and to accept responsibility. When you say accept responsibility, you are accountable for your decisions. So there will always be a choice, a chance, and a change when you make the decision. And you either fly, you float, or you flow when you make your decisions. So I think it's best that as pre-service educators, you will have to give opportunities for your students to decide on their own. Make some choices and options. And they have to weigh the pros and cons, the merits and the demerits of a certain action that they need to make. What else? Why is cell also important? Well, it stimulates positive attitude. Making positive attitudes towards oneself and others can result to a higher efficacy. Just like in the class, we are doing so many interactions, no? As I was saying to my students, you interact with the teacher, you interact with your students, you interact with your instructional materials, and you also interact with the open online resources that are being used now. But just like what we said and what was mentioned by Dr. Bernal, the pandemic has brought not only problems but greater opportunities for learning. We always have to be positive in our attitude. The next one is it reinforces cell activities, reinforce optimistic thinking. So there is a feeling of hopefulness. Matatapos din tong pandemic na ito. Magkikita pa rin kayo ng mga kaklase mo. Kasi if you're going to have a negative thinking, then it will only lead to depression or stress or anxiety. We always have to always look at the brighter side of life. What is also the importance of cell? When we have cell activities or when we integrate cell activities in the classroom, it will yield better academic performance, better grades in school, and less truancy or absences in class. Why? Because your students feel a sense of belongingness every time they see their classmates, every time they see the teachers. So the moment they interact with the others, they will learn more and do more. What's next? So you improve your attitude and behavior. Why? Because there is greater motivation to learn, you have deeper commitments in school, and you have increased time devoted to schoolwork and better classroom behavior. When you have a sense of belongingness, when you are socially accepted, you always have a positive attitude and a positive behavior. Now, definitely, on the other side, it will decrease negative behaviors. Why? Because there will be less disruptions, there will be non-compliance and aggression, delinquent acts, and disciplinary referrals. Ma'am Lucille was saying about bullying. So if we have established our parameters in making a very good climate, a non-threatening, friendly, and safe environment in the class, definitely there will be no, the presence of bullying in class will be diminished or totally be eradicated. And the last among the importance in CEL will be more on reducing emotional distress. Many people now are suffering from anxiety and depression. But if our pre-service educators and teachers will only try to inject CEL activities in class, well, there will be lesser reports on student depression, anxiety, stress, and social withdrawal. That's the reason why I started with my Mentimeter asking you, how do you feel today? I have a teacher in the preschool before that she will stand at the door and she's going to greet all the students, how do you feel today? And at the end, we'll also do the same. After my class, how do you feel today? And if there are those who cannot understand the lesson, there will be a contact time or individual conference so that there will be less anxiety and depression. Now, how does it connect with student engagement? I'm going to make an acronym about student engagement, and it means the degree of attention. Look at the first word, attention, curiosity, interest, optimism, and passion that your students will show on the learning or in the process that they're being taught. So if you're able to get their attention, they're always in awe, listening to you, they are always curious, asking questions, they show interest by submitting their tasks on time, and they will always look forward to your classes, and they love to always see you in the class, then student engagement is really in the offing. They are highly motivated. So you are not an ET in the class. They would like to always come and listen to you. Why? Because you are always there to guide them in every activity along the way. So please take note, student engagement is ACIOP. That will have attention. You keep the attention of your class. You keep them focused. They're always eager to learn, curious of asking questions. They always show their interest by participating in your classes. They are always on the positive side and they love learning. So that's student engagement. Now, why is it that we need why do we need to keep our students highly engaged? Hindi ba palaging patay yung klase, no? Ito sa face-to-face, ang dali kasi sa klaseng wag, just like what Dr. Jonal was saying, I want a highly active, interactive, innovative, and integrative class. But this time, it's quite limited, but how can it be done? And I'm going to show you later. I started with my Mentimeter. So everyone, some answered in my Mentimeter. So why is it important? Engaged students are more likely to achieve academically, walang nag-a-absent, and they stay in school. So they stay in your class. They don't cut classes. They are not absenting themselves in your classes. And then they will be the best source of information about whether they feel engaged by their teachers and the classwork. There are some students who are really very, very vocal in saying that I really love this class. you know what I do in my classes? I always have my exit pass. I have my entry pass and I have my exit pass. So in my entry pass, they will have to tell me exactly what they learned from the previous lesson, and from the exit pass, what they learned from my lesson for the day. Now, can you do this in your classes right now? Yes, you can. So they can have the entry pass, they can type the answers in the chat room, or in the exit pass, they can also do a Slido or Mentimeter to tell you exactly how they feel. Now, facilitating in engaging online courses, because we are now online and we don't know how long will this take, require educators to design strategies that enhance student participation and build a sense of community. Hindi dahil pandemic at virtual, hindi na tayo pwedeng maging engage ang mga bata. Marami pang paraan, which I'm going to tell you later. Now, we move on. So, it will have to, student engagement will lead to collaborative learning. We develop enhancing relationship because they can also work by groups. And then, educators, on the other hand, can give feedback about how they're doing. And most likely, if they are highly engaged, I always tell my class that you must be a responsible, mature individual. So you got to be self-directed. Whether with teachers or not, you have to be there. Now, I'm going to give at least 20 tips in increasing student engagement. Am I still making sense? Can you still hear me? Are my slides showing? Okay, so these are the tips in student engagement. The first one is be clear in communicating expectation and outcomes. At this point in time, when we have what we call the OBTL, or outcome-based teaching and learning, it's always nice that you start your session or your day by telling your outcomes. I think Region 5 made it very clear, and I was very happy listening to Dr. Likup giving you the outcomes for this training. And at the end, we have to find out whether we have achieved the outcomes that we set for the day. Number 2, we use multiple formats. Now, the pandemic has also brought many problems in terms of connectivity, no Wi-Fi. But you see, the Department of Education made use of modular approach. They use modules. The others, they also use other formats which will not need Wi-Fi, but there is what we call interactive games that they can do with or without Wi-Fi. So you have to use multiple formats in your discussion. Now, what are these? I'm giving you one. Hindi pwede yung iba. So I want to talk with my class. I can use my email. I always also get the email of my class. I also ask them to get my email, but I set my parameters. When are you going to chat me or give me an email or give me a text message? You can also have your discussion forum, and you can use your chat room. Then you can do instant messaging, and you can do broadcast, inform your class about what you're going to do for the day, and you can make homepage announcements. Now, decide active learning. That's my number 3 tip. Decide active learning opportunities. I'm so happy listening to the research presenters. They made their research presentation very well. But in our education today, one of the best ways that we can have are case studies, no? So we can have case studies, and this is what you call applied learning. Why? Because They conduct the case studies in order to also solve a problem. We can also conduct interviews. Sabihin nyo, ay virtual na, hindi na pwedeng mag-interview. Pwede pa rin yan. So group projects can also be done. So they have to see each other outside the classes, and they can chat using their messenger, or they can do Zoom or Google Meet so that they can make their group projects. The nicest one is more on hands-on learning. Maraming performance tasks. I have 7 grandchildren, and all of them are on hands-on learning. I thought that it couldn't be done, but the pandemic made us realize that we can so be creative and innovative. And then we can do gathering and analyzing local data. So even though it's virtual, we can still do this. Then, what else can you do? Ito ang maganda. Immediate responses to discussion points and email questions. Mahirap itong gawin pero ginagawa ko. And I do hope all the rest are doing this. Now, to keep your students always moving, you always have to give immediate feedback and responses. I am fan of writing love letters to my class. When you say love letters, letters of affirmation, and I always answer their questions so that you will be able to see how far they have gone. So, but always and ever, as I have said, you set your guidelines kasi may mga batang nagtatanong lang na assignment, sinabi mo na yan. So, I always tell my class, I'm giving you my cell phone number, but you're going to use that only for 2 things. One is for me to know why you were absent in my class, and another thing is for you to tell me exactly why you are absent, and another one is for me to also communicate with you. But other than that, you're going to ask me about your assignment, then you have to look at your chat room, or you look at your notes so that you'll be able to see what is the assignment for the day. Then, the feedback must be detailed and positive. Huwag niyo lalagay palaging no assignment. O, di ba? Tapos lalagay niyo pampulang-pula yung notebook. It cannot be done. So, I like the way you answered your assignment today. However, you can still work on this. So, it's always positive in nature, especially now that you cannot see them face to face. Always make use of positive notes and positive information or positive affirmation. Number 5, okay. So we always have 2 kinds of assessment, the traditional and authentic assessment. But you see, we also have to ask our students to assess themselves. So if there is what we call teacher assessment, when your faculty members are assessing you, you also have your peer assessment when your peers are the ones assessing you. But this time, you also have to assess yourselves. And what are they going to do? Sabi nga natin dito, the spirit or the sense of accountability and all the things that you're doing. So what is that? You grade your own discussion points. But you see, there are always rubric presented when you grade your discussion points. And then you provide your input for your grade and justify why I deserve this grade. And then you create pieces of evidence or learning evidence or artifacts sa again tawag ata means of verification or modes of verification. Now, use synchronous strategies. So when say synchronous, you are there at the same time. So what do you do in spiderweb discussion? You answer the question independently at home, maybe, or during your free time. And what are you going to do? You're going to share your responses at the start of the discussion. Then, you use your chat room to check for understanding. And other teachers are using the Pliff classroom, no? So when we say Pliff classroom, so that there will be more contact time with the students, what do? The teachers will give the PowerPoint presentation, the modules, the reading materials in advance. The students will have to read extensively, but when they come to their class, whether face-to-face or virtual, there will be more time in the discussion part rather than, or the activities, rather than discussion of the salient points. Number 6, okay, we're nearing. So, what are the other synchronous strategies? Isn't it in the face-to-face, we also have what we call the think, pair, and share. Now, you might ask me, paano magti-think, pair, and share kung wala naman kami doon? Then, you can do that outside classes. You try to assign 2 people to pair, and they will have to share at the start of the class. You also have what you call, for those who are quite passive, they have to think about their thoughts and ideas, they have to write it, and they share it in class. One good way to create community participation or active communication will be the online forum. So you can assign panelists or discussants, and they will have to be the one to discuss in class rather than you always talking in the class. Now, this one, the virtual gallery walk, pwede ba yan? Sa face-to-face, pwede yung gallery walk. Pero dito ba sa sa virtual, pwede? Pwede. Now, you create your gallery walk, present that online, and they will have to critique. It's based on the objective that you set. Gallery walk can be in the form of pictures, picture analysis. It can be words that you would like them to do. It can be options that you would like them to choose, and they have to explain that. And definitely, you can brainstorm online. But you see, as teachers, we have to create policies, especially so hindi man pwedeng sabay-sabay sa online kasi magkakaroon ng echo o hindi magkakarinigan. So it can be said that policies can be raised that we start first with those, we can do it alphabetically, or you can do it by boys or girls, or you can do it by numbers. I'm going to call out the numbers so that you can share online. Then for number 7, we engage our students in social learning. Oh, this is well done. Creating hashtags. Naku, if I see the Facebook, I can see very beautiful hashtags that we create. I have done this in my class and they enjoyed it. Okay? To boost your post with course relevant content, I tell them, put your hashtags and I want to see them. And you can read that, and that will be one way of checking whether they are glued to my discussion. As I have said a while ago, you use different social media platforms. If one is not working, then you can try another one. Oh, we're now in number 8. In every seminar or webinar, we always give certificates. Now, as teachers, can you also give this? Yung mga tatanda na nga, tuwan-tuwa pag may certificate. What more with students? I have this one teacher, Dr. Sikat, who will always give badges and certificates, who will be the best this quarter. And they have also their awarding ceremony in the class. And they really like it. So we recognize students' accomplishment along the way. Hindi na po tayo kasi pwedeng mag-stamp yung sa preschool, di ba, may mga stamp sila na ang mga bata ayaw ng maligo dahil na may mga stamp na very good. Hindi natin magawa ngayon yan kasi hindi nga face-to-face. But you can do some certificates which you can also post that just like what you do in the webinar. And they can print that. And then you have to award these achievements based on the most learned competencies and the like. For our number 9, you give emphasis on the task. Okay? Create a structure, the time, the duration that must be followed, allowing acceleration of pace. Not everyone can do that at a fast pace. Others are doing that in a slow pace. in our virtual classes, we always give the time when they are going to have the synchronous and asynchronous activities. But I think you have to tell exactly the directions that you want, whether they're going to do it, they are going to post it, they are going to submit it, what time is it open for them to answer, just like in the evaluation that you're going to do today. The committee will tell you that you need to comply with the evaluation so that you can get a certificate. So always place the policies. We're almost halfway. So we have diversity of learners, and children don't learn the same in the same time, at the same pace, at the same mode, or at the same style. So we have to create many opportunities for them to show their talents. Now, you also use different channels of communication. It can be through SMS, it can be through email, it can be through Messenger, it can be through your Viber, or it can be through your Instagram, and so forth and so on. Then, what is so nice about the virtual classes will be the collection of online resources that you can get from the net. So, kung hindi ka nakagawa, just surf the net, type the task that you're going to have, and you can get it. But you must also be accountable in the resources that you're going to do. Always acknowledge the sources that you're going to use in your classes. Now, Dr. Lucille was saying about reflection, no? Reflect on journal writing. You got to be reflective and reflexive on your teaching. So, at the end of the day, you're going to ask yourselves, what can still be improved about my individual interaction with my students? When I was a cooperating a practicum supervisor, I have this one principal who was very good in listing down how interactive is the class. Meron siyang seat plan. At every time the teacher is answering, what is she doing? She's making a mark, sino na sumagot, sino hindi. So that immediately at the end of the day, she will tell the teacher, you know what, out of 40 students, you were able only to call 20. And how did she know? Well, meron siyang checklist. Now, how can you do this in a virtual class? You must have a way of checking that everyone has interacted with you. When I was observing my apo in her online class, the teacher was very keen in saying, I want to hear from, I have not heard your voice yet. Or you can do alternate reading recitation strategy by saying, when you are the last one to recite, would you like to call on your classmate? And you'll be the one to tell exactly who will recite in the class. So this can be part of your improving individual interaction with the students. Another question will be, what more can I do to make this subject more engaging and highly memorable? Wow, the word is, hindi ka makakalimutan. Highly engaging ang class. Though your face is not quite beautiful, but they will always think of you that I really love this class because I feel that I belong. Okay? So, for our next, number 14 will be create and maintain a strong presence. I'm so happy that there are teachers, since you cannot see your class every now and then because you also have your asynchronous classes. At the start of the class in Centro, they always encourage us to make a video at the start of our classes, especially now that it's virtual, so that they can just go back to the video. Oh, ito pala yung teacher ko. This is teacher Dr. B. So I will have to go back to the video of the teacher kasi tanungin mo bata ngayon, sino teacher mo? Ay, hindi ko na nga alam kung sino nga ba yung teacher ko. So I think, especially now during the virtual, it's always nice that you create a video of yourself, introduce yourself, give your rules so that they will be able to be highly engaged with you kasi ang tawag na nila sa iyo, nanay, surrogate mother, surrogate father, and an angel, an earthbound angel. For our number 15, establish a sense of comfort and develop a sense of community of learners. As I was saying a while ago, the learning environment must be safe, secured, healthy, and non-threatening environment. So we always have to impose on those friendly, safe, secured, and non-threatening environment for our learners. Ask questions that empower students to question. Nakalagay yan sa accreditation, provision to ask questions. So what are we going to do? We will be the one to ask our students, what questions would you like to raise? What are those that are not clear? What are some of your doubtful ideas? Would you like to tell me? Ang tawag ko yun, suggestions, question, reactions, and comments. So at the end of the day, you will have to ask that so that there will be all those unanswered questions at the back of their mind can be answered. Now, number 16, again, reflection and communication through quality asynchronous discussion. The modules that you need to prepare must be of quality so that even they don't see you, they can understand all your tasks and discussions. Then, have a good sense of balance and being active facilitator and an active observer in your class. May mga teacher na very keen on this, no? Talagang parang ang mata nila nakakalat. So very keen in observing. Now, we have to be keen kasi nakikita lang natin kalahating para tayong mga aswang, kalahating katawan lang, no? So we have to be keen if the others are still listening or glued to us. Now, regularly check links, resources, modules, and activities. So as teachers, you need to check on this because there might be unanswered questions, there might be unanswered tasks, or there might be a feeling of depression because they cannot connect to the connectivity. Now, at the same time, just like what we have right now, Wi-Fi connectivity might not be so good, the unexpected, and we got to be flexible in the things that we're doing. So just like when we started in the rehearsal, we said that if someone cannot be seen, cannot be heard, then there are alternates so that they will be able to come in. And the last but not the least, for my 20 tips before I do some wrapping because of the short story that I'm going to have, inform your students where to go for technical support. So I think all the universities and schools, they already inform their students where to go. There is a 24/7 technical support, just like in our university. Parang hindi na natutulog ang aming learning management group because all questions always pop into that chat box. All right, so am I still heard, Dr. Felina? So there are the carrot, the bean. You put 3 pots of water over the fire. In the first pot, you put some carrots. So this is a story, and try to relate yourself. In the second pot, you put in some eggs. On the third pot, you put some coffee beans that have been grounded into coffee powder. Oh, you have to boil all the 3 pots for 15 minutes. And try to see, you take out what you put in. So, the carrots went in so hard, but then when they get out, it's now soft. The eggs went in soft inside, and they are now hard. And the third one that came in was the coffee powder, and it has disappeared, but the water has the color and the wonderful smell of the coffee. Now, let's find out. Now, think about your life, especially now at this pandemic. Life is not always easy. Life is not always comfortable. Sometimes our life is very hard. Now, try to see, no? Things don't happen like we wish. People don't treat us like we hope. We work very hard, but sometimes you get very few results. What happens when you face difficulties? Now, go back to the pots. The boiling water is like the problems of life. We can be like the carrots. We go in tough and strong, but we come out very soft and weak. Carrot ka ba? Or are you the egg? I'll go to the previous slide. Are you the egg? Oh, it's not working anymore. Are you? May I ask somebody to put in my slide there because it's not moving anymore? Okay. We can be like the carrots. We go in tough and strong. We come out soft and weak. It's not moving. Or are we like the egg that came in so hard and came out soft? Or the coffee bean? We get very tired, we lose hope, we give up. There is no more fighting spirit, and don't be like the carrots. We can be like the eggs. We start with a soft and sensitive heart. We end up very hard and unfeeling inside. We hate others, we don't like ourselves. We become hard-hearted. There is no warm feeling, only bitterness. Don't be like the eggs. We can be like the coffee beans. The water does not change the coffee powder. The coffee powder changes the water. The water has become different because of the coffee powder. See it, smell it, drink it. The hotter the water, the better the taste. We can be like the coffee beans. We make something good from the difficulties we face. We learn new things, just like now during the pandemic, natuto tayo ng online class. We have new knowledge, we have new skills, new abilities. We grow in experience, we grow because of this pandemic. Now, we make the world around us better. Why? Because we became resilient, we become flexible. To succeed, we must try and try again. We must believe in what we're doing. We must not give up. We must be patient. We must keep pushing these difficulties, problems, and we got to handle them with care. We are like Superman. We're going to be tough and strong. Problems and difficulties give us the chance to become stronger, better, and tougher. What are we like when things do not go well? Are we like the carrot? Carrot ka ba? O ikaw ba ang egg? O ikaw ang coffee bean? Sagutin mo yan, mag-reflect ka. Oh, you got to be like the coffee bean. Remember these things. Happy and engaged students learn more, do more, and work more. Would you, on your virtual desk, would you like to say, remember, happy and engaged students learn more, do more, and work more. So, my dear teachers, we got to be a highly engaged educator. And these are the references that I have for this talk. So I would like to thank everyone for being with me today, for allowing me to share my thoughts, about this. So you may now remove and unshare my screen. And thank you so much, Region 5, for allowing me to talk on this gathering today. Marami pong salamat. God bless. Be a blessing to everyone. Thank you.
Wow. There is no doubt in my mind that your talk is insightful and inspiring, Dr. Mila. Your words will surely guide our attendees as they thread a new path in their lives, this time with renewed vigor and confidence. If we only practice social and emotional learning, I think we can help develop students or veer students away from becoming social and emotional bonsais. Intellectual bonsais, I mean. Again, my sincere thank you. And as our token, we will be awarding a certificate of commendation. The certificate reads, Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE Incorporated, Bicol Chapter presents this certificate of commendation to Dr. Milagros Lim Borabo, Vice President for Luzon, PAFTE National, for generously sharing her invaluable knowledge, precious time, and wealth of experience, and unparalleled expertise as resource speaker during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills in the New Normal Classroom, held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams. Given this 26th day of March 2021 at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Nora L. Licop, Chair, PAFTE 5.
Thank you, PAFTE 5. Marami pong salamat. Diyos mabalos.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Mila. At this point, we will have the awarding ceremony. Wow, you're now grinning from ear to ear, just like Garfield the cat. Because this is, I think, the most awaited part. We will be awarding the 2020 10 Outstanding Student Teachers and Best Research Papers. And to start, it's generous of Carl E. Balita to award Certificate of Scholarship. Let me read to you the content. Carl E. Balita Review Center, where the dream and the dreamer become one. Award this Certificate of Scholarship to our 10 outstanding student teachers, 5 from the elementary and 5 from the secondary categories, in recognition of their dynamic passion for learning and excellence, given this 26th day of March 2021 during the Regional Student Teachers Congress in Legazpi City. Signed, Maria Luisa C. Biquillo, Admin, CBRC Bicol, Anibeth A. Gapido, Managing Director, CBRC Bicol, Carl E. Balita, CBRC President and CEO. Also, the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE 5 officers will award certificates of recognition and, take note, and a cash of 3,000 pesos for each of the 10 outstanding student teachers. Wow, isn't it amazing? Let's first read to you the content of the certificate. Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE Incorporated, Bicol Chapter, presents the Certificate of Recognition to our best research presenters for their exemplary performance as, our TOST, Awardees for their exemplary performance as winners during the 2020 search for 10 outstanding student teachers awarded during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom, held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams, given this 26th day of March 2021 at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City. Signed, Dr. Nelly A. Ditera, Chair, TOST, Elementary Category. Dr. Belen D. Azul, Chair, TOST, Secondary Category. Dr. Edita A. Ludado, Immediate Past Chair and Advisor, PAFTE 5. And Dr. Nora L. Licop, Chair, PAFTE 5. Okay, here we go. Congratulations to the following. Pamela Incabo, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Gynecologist, City of Masbate. Mr. Miguel Luis V. Pilino, President. Dr. Jonald D. Sia, College Dean. Mr. Warren D. Sirin. Mr. Ramon Ronald L. Fernandez, Coaches. Eliza B. Becchio, Bachelor of Elementary Education, San Jose Community College, Malilipot, Albay. Dr. Teresa G. Bustamante, President. Dr. Maria Isabel P. Gabito, College Dean. Mr. Glenn B. Bertilio, Coach. Jomabel Amor C. Abujero, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Sipukot, Camarines Sur. Dr. Alberto N. Naperi, President. Dr. Ana Maria A. Bonito, College Dean. Professor Imelda M. Ablao, Coach. We also have Ronald P. Salo, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Camarines Norte State College, Daet, Camarines Norte. Dr. Rusty G. Abanto, President. Dr. Jennifer S. Rubio, College Dean. Mr. John Paul M. Castillo, Coach. And Chiean Joy D. Busangilan, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Santa Elena, Camarines Norte College, Incorporated. Santa Elena, Camarines Norte. Dr. Nolly D. Bayani, President. Dr. Telesforo Enumerable, College Dean. And Dr. Aida R. David, Coach. Moving on to the secondary category, we have Cheryl Grace B. Pascual from the University of St. Anthony, Iriga City, Camarines Sur. Attorney Santiago D. Ortega Jr., President. Dr. Arlene O. Monsalve, College Dean. Mr. Christian I. Lamud, Coach. We also have Marlon V. Guerrero, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Biological Science, Camarines Norte State College, Daet, Camarines Norte. Dr. Rusty G. Abanto, President. Dr. Jennifer S. Rubio, College Dean. And Miss Iris H. Ibonia, Coach. Moving on, we have Catherine Joy, Doctor of Secondary Education, major in English, from San Jose Community College, Malilipot, Albay. Dr. Teresa G. Bustamante, President. Dr. Maria Isabel P. Gabito, College Dean. And Mr. Glenn B. Bertilio, Coach. Normuel E. Dumalaon, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, from the Lewis College, Sorsogon City. Attorney Loida Nicholas Lewis, President. Dr. Belen D. Azul, College Dean. And Miss Thelma D. Bubis, Coach. Following, we have James Carlo P. Frias, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Biological Science, from Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, si Pukot Camarines Sur, Dr. Alberto N. Naperi, President, Dr. Ana Maria A. Bonito, College Dean, and Professor Evangelina C. Pamada, Coach. Congratulations to all the winners of Bicol 2020. This time, we will award the Certificate of Recognition for the research paper competition. I know you're all excited, so let me now name to you the winners. By reading the content, Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE Incorporated, Bicol Chapter, presents the Certificate of Recognition to, this is the heartbeat moment, to Arlo G. Sakay from University of St. Anthony, Irigas City. Third place in the research paper competition during the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress with the theme Weaving Social Emotional Learning Skills into the New Normal Classroom, held on March 26, 2021 via Microsoft Teams. Given this 26th day of March at Hotel Inigo, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Edita A. Lodado, immediate past chair and advisor, PAFTE 5, and Dr. Nora L. Licop, chair, PAFTE 5. And let's award the second place to Josebel P. Sawale from Libon Community College, Libon, Albay. Second place again for research paper competition. And, okay, our first place is, okay, to Claudine A. Torero from the University of Nueva Cáceres, Naga City. Congratulations for bagging the awards for the research paper competition. And if my memory tells me correctly, our winners will receive the following cash prizes or incentives. For the best research, for the third place, the amount is 1,000 pesos. For the second place, it's 1,500 pesos. And for the first place, it's 2,000 pesos. Wow, congratulations. You're all richer today by thousands. Wow. Okay, again, my warmest congratulations, my dearest young blood achievers. Just a word of caution, according to Tom Peters, never ever rest on your laurels, because today's laurels are tomorrow's composts. Keep going, keep shining. Congratulations again. I know you would want to hear impressions on TOST. So we have granted your desire. Let's all be ready to listen to Cheryl Grace B. Pascual from the University of St. Anthony, Irigas City, Camarines Sur, TOST awardee.
Hi everyone. So Arthur Fleck said before that the only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible, and I cannot help but agree with it. The top 10 outstanding student teachers of Bicol 2020 pushed me far past my self-inflicted bounds and taught me that the true courage lies with initiating change, fueled by the passion to serve. The contest was nothing but challenging in my part as a conflicted fourth-year student, especially during the portfolio making, which happened while I was immersed in the middle of my off-campus teaching. The caliber of the skills and talent of my co-contenders and the presence of the PAFTE members during our interview and demonstration teaching proper at the University of Northeastern Philippines pressured me more with the weight and expectations that come with representing my university and fighting against all odds to the fullest of my capability. But I guess it is true when they say that diamonds are formed under pressure. I would like to extend my gratitude to PAFTE, CHED, the host university, my university, family, and friends for making the journey and the destination brighter with all their support, love, and effort. Congratulations to all awardees and finalists of Top 10 Outstanding Student Teachers of Bicol 2020. This is barely the end, but is the beginning of another journey. Bon voyage, teachers! This is Cheryl Grace B. Pascual from University of St. Anthony, second category, rank 1, TOST 2020.
Again, thank you for the impressions, Miss Cheryl. Of course, the success of this webinar would not materialize had it not been for the various contributions of different individuals. So, to properly acknowledge and offer a word of thanks, may I introduce Dr. Lily A. Vidal, Dean, College of Education, University of Nueva Cáceres, Auditor, PAFTE 5, for the closing remarks and word of thanks.
A pleasant morning to everyone. On behalf of the officers and members of PAFTE Region 5, it is my pleasure to express gratitude to all those who made this event a reality. Allow me to thank the people behind this event. To our keynote speaker, Dr. Lucille Dote-Evangelista, thank you for giving us part of your time and inspire us with your wonderful message. Our very accommodating CHED Regional Director, Dr. Freddy Bernal, your support to PAFTE is greatly appreciated. Our PAFTE 5 Chair, Dr. Nora Lico, for efficient leadership. Vice President for Luzon PAFTE National, Dr. Milagros Borabo, for taking time out from your busy personal and professional schedules and for continuously journeying with PAFTE Bicol. Of course, Dr. Feline Espique, we are truly grateful for your guidance. Your being a mentor to us is extremely valuable. Dr. Ana Miranya, for her generosity in providing the technology for this event. To all awardees, you all did a great job. And all the participants who have been there throughout the sessions, your presence have shown that we all want a better tomorrow for everyone. Our ever committed sponsor, Lorimal Publishing, we thank you for continuously helping PAFTE in all its events. Sir Brian, for this dedication and patience in providing us with a technical assistance. Most of all, thank you to Almighty God, who always showers us with blessings. May we continue to be strong and visionary for a better, normal, and nurturing future. I hope that the learning that you were able to acquire would be planted in your hearts and minds and allow it to bloom and be seen in your actions. Let us keep the fire burning until it spread and become a wildfire of intellectual influence. Thank you.
Wow, a round of applause to PAFTE National, to Ma'am Feline, Ma'am Ila, Ma'am Jan. 5 family, I'm seeing you all, sending you all my hugs and my love. It has been said that everything begins and ends with God. At this juncture, we will now have the closing prayer to be led by Dr. Ana E. Miranya, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, PRO, PAFTE 5.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O gracious God, with hearts full of trust and confidence in your love, we offer to you our praises and prayers. We thank you for giving us your Son Jesus in order to show us the way to faith, hope, and love. Through him, you never cease to remind us of the value of his suffering and death on that cross, that through which we'll only be able to experience true joy and fulfillment. We thank you for Jesus, who throughout all time strengthens us to carry also our daily crosses and trials as sure ways to your kingdom. As we come to the end of the 2021 Bicol Regional Student Teachers Congress, weaving social emotional learning skills into the new normal classroom, in answer to the challenges of the global crisis, we ask even more for your blessing. Guide us, strengthen us, and grant us your divine assistance in realizing all our efforts into completion for the service of your people. We thank particularly those who imparted their inspirations and wisdom to us today, the program organizers, and those in charge of technical assistance. Bless them with your peace and continue using them for the service of your people. While we are a bit more remote and distant from one another, we are never remote from you, O God, and that you always here with us and uniting us. May this event be an avenue of stronger connectedness and understanding among ourselves. Let us prudently make use of your gifts of knowledge and wisdom in spreading the gospel of your kingdom. Protect all of us, Lord, in everything that we do, and through you, may everything be happily ended. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Oh, despite the odds, we triumphed. So as we bring our student teachers to a close, we once again thank you for being with us and hope that this activity has given you a much clearer understanding of social emotional learning. This has been your Master of Ceremony, Ronald Sia. We will see you next time.